Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Setting the Hook TV. I'm your host Dylan Curry. Today's episode we're going to be talking to you about locating those fish. You go on a new body of water or the bite's hard today, you're having a hard time locating those fish. This is what this video is going to be for. Today, in my instance, it is Saturday. It is about 4 p.m. I have been pre-fishing a lake that I have a tournament coming up. I know this lake pretty well. I've done well in the past in tournaments there. However, I've been pre-fishing it for a week and a half. I am still going back to basics. I am locating those fish. As you can see, the cat's in the background again, so don't be alarmed. Yes, she is scratching the wall. I don't know, we get her claws trimmed and she still scratches. Cats, I don't know. It's the wife's cat, so I can't really do anything about it. I just take it. Alright, so locating those fish. So guys, previous video we talked about bass. They have the lateral line, they feel vibrations in the water, they use their sight. Bass, really big radars on them, they have great sight. So if you roll up to a lake you don't really know, or you're pre-fishing a lake trying to key on fish, you want to look for key points. Biggest thing I can say is use what we call a locator bait, locating baits. These are baits with rattles in them, something that you can power fish. A lot of guys use that term, speed fishing, mainly when you want to cover a large amount of body water. When you want to cover a lot of water, really fast amount of time. In a tournament, you got 8 hours, 7 to 3. If it's a big lake, you gotta cover, like I said, lakes are usually huge where we do tournaments on. You want to go quick. You want to rip that bait caster. You want to be ripping really fast. You want to be doing the umbrella technique. You want to cast it to the left, to the here, to the here. A lot of guys, they'll use the clock method. They'll go cast at 12 o'clock. They'll go 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. Depending where you're on your boat, you'll start at 9, 10, 11, 12. Call the umbrella technique. You just fan it out as you're feathering the trolling motor, keying in on those fish. So, a locating bait. A bait that you can fish fast. My favorite Rapalas, the lipless crankbait. Rattle traps, rattling wraps, there's so many different names for these built-in rattles in them. These are probably one of my favorite tools I use for locating baits. You can fish it fast. Depth, you actually control the depth. Cast it with the bait caster, spinning rod, whatever you guys are using. Cast it out there. As soon as it hit the water, click, you can fish it just under the surface if you're in less than 3 feet of water. If you guys are around weeds, these aren't too really good on weeds. They do get snagged a lot. If you guys are around weeds, be very careful or try to keep them up near the surface. If you're going to use weed, be around weeds, you might want to go to something else. If you do know how to fish crankbaits and weeds, all the power to you. So again, crankbaits. You want to cast it out there. You want to be ripping it quick. This bait's going to go really quick. Skip right across. Another locating bait. Any type of crankbait, basically. I have a deep diving crank right here. This one goes down fairly good. If I'm behind the weed line, 8, 9 feet of water, starts to drop off, there's a weed line, I know there are bass suspended on that drop line, cast it out. Again, any type of locating bait. Another locating bait, spinner bait, again, any type of bait that you can fish really quick. Cast it out there going. So, which brings us to our next opportunity. When you're using a locator bait, you want to key in on key spots, right? Some spots are back bays, rocky shoals, smallmouth. Any type of irregularities in the shore is generally what you want to look for. You have a basic shoreline that goes all the way down. Yeah, flip the docks by all means. Rip the crankbaits, absolutely. What I like to look for is I look for irregularities. I look for points. I look for peaks. I look for bays that dip in. I'll drive by with my boat, look at my depth finder, I'll look at the climate, look at the bottom changes. If it goes from 3 feet, all of a sudden it goes to 10 feet. Bass will be suspended on that line. Perfect. I'll throw a rattling wrap in there, keying in. So, I got a basic drawing for you here. It's to somewhat represent a shoreline. This is all going to be land. You're coming down a shoreline, you have a rocky shoal right here, and then you have a big bay. Big weedy bay. You got docks, you got boats, rocky shoals. This is probably the perfect scenario that every angler dreams of for during just fishing in general. This is exactly what I look for. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start ripping a crankbait, rocky shoals, rocky peaks. Right where it transitions from weed to rock, perfect. Largemouth are going to be on those weeds. The smallmouth are going to be near those rocks. Win-win scenario. I'll be throwing a crankbait. I will be hitting this rocky shoal all in here. A lot of times hot spots where the transition from weeds to rock will be. Sometimes it's where the rock transitions to deeper water. Again, smallmouth will cruise those rocky shoals. They can be up against the shoreline depending on the time of year. Key spots. Throw the crankbaits in there. Just punish it. Umbrella technique. More cast in there, the better. You're not going to catch fish if you're bait anything in the water, right? Punch that line. Same thing on the other side here. Where it transitions from rock to shoreline, punish all in there. Weeds the rock, perfect. Get a bait in there. Get in then. Alright, so brings us to the weedy bay. Perfect. Put down the crank-ray rods, pick up the flipping sticks. We are going to hit these weeds. So again, in the weeds, Texas rig. Love it. You can throw your flipping jigs, you can Texas rig minnow shad worms, you can Texas... That darn cat. Jeez. What are you going to do? I need a dog. Weedy bay, Texas rig. Throw those worms out. Throw those craw chunks out. Whatever you want to Texas rig with, get it in there. You want to punish these docks. You have the weeds all in there. You want to hit every angle of that dock. Boats, perfect. Hit the boats. Go up right in shallow, all sides of the boat. Where the dock and the boat are, you want to throw in there. Punish this whole thing. Depending on the depth, if the top of the weeds from the water, depends how much gap you got. If you only have a foot, less than a foot, you want to stay Texas rig. You don't want to be ripping actual other baits through there. Me, generally, if I come in and bait like this and the top of the water from the top of the weeds, if I got a couple feet, I'm going to throw a bait in there. I'll throw, if it's calm, I'm going to throw a top water. Top water galore in here. You come up 8, 9 in the morning, this weedy bay, you have a little bit of you got weeds, a little bit of water in between from the water to the top of the weeds. I'm going to be throwing frogs. Top water, buzz baits. I can't get enough over these buzz baits. Love them. Perfect scenario. When you have those top of the weeds from the water, all I need is a couple inches. Okay, so you see, here's my buzzbait. Nice bright green chartreuse. I love it. You can get those pretty much anywhere. Top water, power fish. I will do the umbrella technique. When my boat rolls up here, let's see if I can draw a boat like this. Geez, I'm good today. Usually I can't draw that good. So, when I roll up to the bay, again, umbrella rig, I am going to be just using, if I'm using top water, going to be using that buzz bait, I'm just going to punish all in here. Depending how far it is, I will move my boat in. Generally, if I'm fishing a bay like this with top water, going to use the buzz bait or the frog, doesn't matter. I'm going to just pound this bay full of everything. Pound it full of the buzz baits, and then what I will do, I will circle my boat out, continue around here for about a half hour. What I'm going to do, if the bite's still slow over here on this side, I will circle back around, come in here, then I will start my flipping stuff. I will pick up my flipping stick, I will start punishing these weeds. I'll be throwing Texas rig, again, start flipping your docks and everything. That's only 8 a.m. calm water. If you roll up here to a situation like this, a little bit of chop on the water, you probably don't want to use buzz bait, you might want to pick up a spinner bait, maybe a shallow diving crankbait, something that goes to 1, 2, 3 feet maybe, jerk bait. Perfect example of this, jerk baits, some don't go down as far, they go 1 to 3 feet, perfect. If you have a bit of water gap between top of the weeds and the water, pitch it out there. Spinner bait's great for that scenario. So again, you start with the rocky shoals, you always look for these peaks. You come to these peaks out, fish are going to be here, they will be sitting on the edge of these weeds, they will be in the weeds, or they're going to be cruising. Either way, you roll up, you start from this side, you punish that shoal, you punish this bay, you punish this shoal, and then you keep going. Alright, that's generally what you want to do. Again, guys, I am not a professional. I am working my way to be a professional. This is just some of the techniques I use. Going to give you another scenario here. Just give me 1 second.